Have you ever thrown out your old clothes, electronics, or household items because they are old and out of style? Where do those items go when they are thrown out? Who makes the items that we buy? Is this never-ending cycle of fast fashion and unethical consumption going to cause a global crisis? Today I'm going to tell you about unethical consumption and why it is so harmful to our planet and its people, and ways we can shop more ethically in order to benefit us all. Think about the furniture you sit on at home. Where does the wood come from? Forests all over the world are being logged for their wood. This has many resulting negative factors. For example, in Central Africa and Cameroon, the logging of the wood has diminished a specific type of fruit that the native population relied on. They can no longer access that fruit, and this has impacted their health. Deforestation is one of our environment's major problems. Cutting down large numbers of trees erodes land and silts waterways, displaces native people and wildlife, and releases tons of carbon dioxide, which is stored in living wood fibre, into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Obviously, wood is a precious material, useful for building, heating, and furniture. Yet, if we choose wisely which wood we select and which trees we use, we can continue to support our Earth and limit the damage that deforestation brings about. The world of fast fashion is even more unethical. It's so easy these days just to walk into a store and buy a new top for $5 without even thinking of the origin of the piece of clothing, the life of the person in China working in a factory getting paid a patent, the impact on the environment. When the item is no longer in fashion and someone throws it in the rubbish and it ends up in landfills, fast fashion is a term for over-consumerization of fashion. Items are made of cheap fabrics by people who are working long hours in bad conditions for a minimum wage. In 2013, there was a tragic accident in Bangladesh where a clothing factory collapsed, killing 1,000 garment workers. This particular factory was deep in the unethical fashion industry, and workers worked long hours for little money to ensure big chains were supplied with the fabrics they needed. The death of so many would not have occurred had the managers not insisted on the workers keeping hard at work. Plus, the factory was below standard building and patently unsafe to work in the first place. Fast production and health and safety are way down the priorities of the fast fashion industry. In order to produce the garments we wear and satisfy our need to keep up with the trends, there are those who pay a very steep price. Most clothing brand work is done in countries that don't have very strict safety rules. The workers get paid very little, and if it's children working, they don't get child safety. Workers who also have no other work to go to work in a sweatshop model, which is characteristic by the low cost of production, unethical practices, working such as child labour, long working days for very little pay, and not very clean working spaces. Now that we've talked about fast fashion, furniture, let's consider food. Everything you put into your mouth without even thinking about it could harm the planet. How have they been manufactured? I bet you don't even think about that. For example, Coca-Cola has a long history of workers' rights violation at its bottling plants. It has also had a poor record on the environment, being accused of taking water supplies from rural communities that desperately need it and falsifying environmental data. You don't need half of that stuff in your pantry. Stuff that has been sitting there, not being eaten, that also could have gone to helping starving people. So think carefully about what you purchase. The purchases we make a difference to the world we live in. Through unethical consumption of fashion, furniture, and food, amongst many other products, we are harming our environment. Think before you buy, make a difference.